Alright, this video that I'm gonna react to is by Lucy Pyre, and it's called Final Fantasy XIV has a huge problem with job design.
Imagine for a moment that you're a job designer for Final Fantasy XIV. Now, before you go and spend your new game dev riches on that one blow-up doll you've been eyeing for a while, how about we go over your role real quick? Consider this your orientation of sorts. As a job designer, your goal is to make jobs that not only work well with the existing game mechanics, but also keep players coming back for more. You want a feedback loop that hooks them on dopamine and rewards them for executing simple yet fulfilling mechanics properly. Sounds pretty simple, right? Wrong. There's still one more thing. The curse of the console. You're designing with controller players in mind, and because you want this game to be accessible to as many potential customers as possible, that means jobs with skills that fit on the first hotbar are especially good. That gives you 16 major buttons that you expect to be pressed frequently, and another 16 minor buttons that even a Cure 1 spammer can swap to and use every other minute or so. Any button above this magic number is problematic for job design because
I don't know about you guys, but to me, seeing controller players looks really hard for me. Like, I don't know how they do it. It might be easier, you know? But I would say that keyboard is easier than controller. Maybe because I've just been a PC gamer like most of my life. I haven't played like on controller since, okay, well, let's disregard the Switch, my Nintendo Switch, but I haven't played controllers since I was like 18 or something. That was when my parents stopped buying me a console.
hotbars are very annoying to cycle through on controller. Now, because Scholar and Astrologian are suffering from this,
so it is harder.
You choose to ignore them because they're filthy little healers. Samurai, though? Now that's a DPS. A big boy job that is
Dude, how does one play Samurai on a freaking controller? Does Lucy do that?
way too many minor buttons to fit on the hotbar, so your task is to fix that. Your mind may instantly fly to Guden and Sen-E. Couldn't that simply upgrade into Guden 2? A stronger potency AoE with fall-off damage? Or heck, you could turn Shoha 2 into a trait upgrade with the same thing. You could even make Ikishoten turn into Ogi Namikiri like you've done with other jobs. Any or all of these changes would be good ones to make. But you remember that you're supposed to simplify gameplay mechanics across the board. After all, that is what you did with Summoner. The numbers show more people play the job now, whereas it was just a niche playstyle before. Players clearly prefer simplicity, so let's rethink a bit. Is there anything we could remove that saves
the easier the better
and makes things appeal to casual players? Well, that's probably kaiten, right? When you think about it, it's just an obligatory button you press right before every EI jutsu, so why not?
Let's be honest, kaiten takes really long. Whenever I'm traveling from one place to another place, I'm usually using my kaiten, like winding up my move.
Just remove it entirely, since it doesn't matter. It won't change the playstyle.
They did!
And everyone will be happy. Not only that, you're gonna let their big skills crit every single time. Damn, you deserve a raise. Players are gonna love it. Except they don't. You can take off.
Oh, they really don't?
Right because your job dev simulator.
Dude, I've never seen what Reddit people said about like the new changes to Samurai. I thought like it was going to be easier, therefore good. But yeah, I wonder what people really think. According to Lucy, people do not like the changes.
Well, just look at all of you. You get a glimpse at what healers go through and you just can't handle it. I'm giving you a hard time, shit sucks. But before I go further into this, I want to let you know a couple of things. One, I'm not complaining that the game itself is too easy. Easy and hard are completely subjective, and that's a really pointless argument to have. I am gonna talk about the deletion and pruning of job skills that are core to gameplay though, because it is impossible for anyone to understand the thought process behind some of these decisions. So here's the thing, as much as they want to give you the illusion that they're down to earth and not Mark Zuckerberg levels of out of touch, Square Enix is a company. They're here to make a profit. And when they make decisions you love or you hate, it's always done in the name of the bottom line. Trust me, they're not working on Island Sanctuary just to make me happy. They're doing it so I'll get addicted to that and maintain my sub. And damn do they know me well. If the devs could make more money by making players unhappy, they would. And they have. Why do you think new hairstyles are no longer given to the player automatically. Because by getting you to play PvP or run deep dungeons or farm MGP, they're making you engage with game mechanics that could get you hooked on that form of content. If nothing else, they've got you going until you get that item. The reasoning that
smart
kaiten
strategy.
was removed to reduce button bloat is, at best, a half-truth. Because kaiten does require a little decision-making. Not a lot, but you'll be punished with not having enough kinky for your EI jutsu if you go around button-mashing Shinten willy-nilly. Yeah, kaiten may have only taken one brain cell to use properly, but the difference between using one brain cell and using absolutely no brain cells whatsoever can have a huge effect on job satisfaction. You're stepping not only on muscle memory from dedicated players, but you're removing a fun little wind-up animation that rewards you for proper kinky management by powering up one of your epic gamer moves. What's
True. As a samurai main, I do really like that you're like, ooh, I'm winding up to do my big special move. And since they're removing it, I actually have to, since kaiten is on my mouse, one of my mouse buttons here on the side of it, it's basically this button that like I can press up and down. Pressing down is my kaiten, and pressing up on the button is actually my big move. Like either the dot or what is actually the name of the big move? I'm pretty bad with like some of the samurai names. Alright, let me just get the name of it so I can explain it better. Okay, so my down button is my kaiten, and my up button is my jutsu, whether it's a Higan Banana or a Midara Setsugeka. And when you like talk about the openers or anything about samurai's moves and stuff to anybody in the game, they're just like, like they just have no idea what you're talking about because it just sounds like a foreign language. But if you're talking to another samurai main, it's like you're on the same level and you just like get each other because you because you both play samurai. So with kaiten being removed, I'm basically wondering what I will replace my mouse button with. Most likely my Shinten, since you press that quite often. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
It's not to love for a casual either. At best, this decision is neutral. And at worst, you're harming the experience of both casual you don't pay my subtypes and hardcore spreadsheets are my body logs or my blood types, all at the same time. So while the removal of kaiten is pretty bad in my opinion, I think we should have seen this coming. It started with every healer getting reduced to 2 buttons, and then the highly controversial summoner rework. Like it or not, this is the current direction of 14. Jobs will continue to get easier and lose mechanics for as long as Squeenix sees that as the profitable thing to do. And while it will make the game—
think, like, do you think they did that because a lot of people complained about samurai being a little hard to play? In general, I know that they are making it easier for most jobs so that it's more user-friendly for people who want to play the jobs. But I'm just wondering in general if people complained about samurai and that's why they did it. Learning samurai is like a journey, so it was like I was climbing a mountain. So at first you learn the rotation, get comfortable with it, and then you learn how to do the sends properly. So I always get Gecko first, because apparently that's the best to get Gecko first. And I didn't know that before. Even when I'm about to face the boss or like a raid boss, I actually hit my Shisui at about like 7 to 8 seconds on the countdown. And I didn't know that before either. It's just like I'm learning something like slowly, and then you're supposed to press Shinten every time you have enough Kenki. Like just squeeze that in as much as possible, but you always have to make sure you have enough Kenki to do your Haiten. So don't press that Shinten too much. You still need your kaiten. But yeah, they're removing it now, so it's like, okay, you don't even have to worry about not having enough for kaiten anymore. You just Shinten whenever you can. So yeah, it's gonna feel so much easier because you don't have to really like manage your Kenki anymore. But it was fun. It was fun doing that as a samurai player. But I get it. More people will play samurai now if it becomes easier.
more accessible for a handful of new players, I don't think this is the best strategy long term. I think when the baseline content is very approachable as is, making the jobs very simple as well will eventually put you in a situation where 95% of content is easy to complete, and there's no real sense of progression when it comes to improving your own gameplay. Are we at that point yet? For some jobs, yes. For some jobs, no. Do I think Samurai will still be fun to play? Probably. Do I think losing kaiten is a big deal? Yes, actually, because take it from a former healer main. If taking it away from you makes their job easier, they will absolutely do it. And they won't just stop at kaiten. After all, Hakaze is just an obligatory button you have to press before every GCD combo. Why not just throw it away and let us start combos with Genpu or Shifu? Or hell, why don't we just throw away Shifu and Hakaze, keep Genpu, and make that give us both the skill speed and damage buff? Getting Sen would be much faster and way more accessible that way, right? Yeah, simplification can go on and on up until the point that your entire
I hope you guys understood what she said.
Single button.
Okay, yeah, so basically what she was saying is to get Gecko, you press 3 buttons. To get Kasha, you press 3 buttons. And to get Yukikaze, you press 2 buttons. She was just basically saying, why don't you just remove the buttons before Yukikaze, Kasha, and Gecko? That way it's easier to play Samurai. But yeah, it would be less fun, in my opinion, if that were to happen. She's not saying she wants that. She's just like, Lucy's just saying, basically. I think in the future, what they might get rid of for Samurai and other classes is positionals. So right now, for Samurai, Samurai has 2 positionals. Gecko, you have to do it from the rear. And with Kasha, you got to do it from the flank. I mean, positionals don't really matter so much because we have things like True North, which make it easier to do positionals. But I absolutely love P2S because I don't have to press True North. I really like that about the fight. And I just hope there are more fights like that in the future. And since I like it, then I'm like, I don't... And then because of a fight like that, it makes me think, yeah, maybe it would be just better to just remove it. Either way, I don't really mind, but I just have a feeling they might remove True North and positionals.
To enjoy and too thoughtless to feel satisfied. You and I might draw that line in different places, but make no mistake that there is a line for every person. I just so happen to draw mine at kaiten, since myself is a casual samurai, and many samurai mains believe it's central to the gameplay loop. It added choice, reward, and punishment to the Kenki gauge. Without it, the Kenki gauge is effectively just the Shinten gauge. And ironically enough, having an entire gauge for just one skill with a lackluster animation, scholar, is bad job design. I'm not trying to be a doomer or make everyone freak out and overreact, but the devs have shown a pattern that might not be the absolute best path to take going forward. That's all I'm saying. I think having easy content and engaging jobs is a good strategy, but having easy content and brain-dead jobs is, pretty cringe. Take it from someone who could probably apply to be a cringe mentor and get approved. As for what we can do about this,
Final Fantasy XIV is a game that's already easy. The more you play it, the easier it becomes. So if they're making jobs easier, it's going to be not as fun in the long run. I like how Samurai was a mountain for me to climb, and I was always learning something. It was nice that you had to manage your Kenki. I agree with Lucy on that.
Absolutely flooding the official forums did seem to work for getting Male Vieira on board, and considering it's just a job skill, you might not even have to wait over 2 years to get it. Basically, if you hate this change, make it very hard for them to ignore that you hate it. That is, unfortunately, the only advice that I can really give. I promise my next video will be a shit post. I just had to join the Kaiten Simp Wave this time. What's that quote?
I gotta see Reddit
I
now.
said nothing because I was not a healer. When they came for the ERPers, I said nothing because I wasn't an ER. Wait, that's not entirely true. Where was I going with this? Anyway, thanks so much for your understanding. I appreciate you very much, and I'll see you next week, gamers.
What is the total player base of Samurais anyway? Like, I bet you Reapers is just like much higher than Samurai right now. Also, she didn't do a rap. Hey!